Hello, everyone, and welcome to the American Nightmare podcast, episode 53, recorded August 24th, 2022.
Woohoo! There you go.
Woo! All right.
Oh, yeah. We're getting close to
Yeah.
October.
Yes, we
Nice.
are. I'm excited, especially now. AMC has announced, 61 days of summer?
Well, and
of,
Shutter's
Halloween or
doing, I think,
whatever?
like 2 months worth of
Shutter?
two. Yeah. It's looks
I'm
awesome.
excited.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
going to be nice.
All right. Let's quickly jump into the news. The Netflix adaptation of The Sandman is a hit. Sandman has drummed up 23.8 times the demand of the average series on Netflix and has been #1 worldwide for 3 weeks straight. It took about $170 million to produce, but
Holy
so
crap.
far it has scored 274 million hours of watched footage over the past 2 weeks.
That's expensive, though. 174 mil, huh?
Well, it's about Neil Gaiman, who is the writer of Sandman and the co-producer of this show and co-writer of the screenplay, says that it is the cost of a single movie spread out over 9.5 hours.
All right,
Okay.
so it's a bargain then.
Yeah.
Quite a bargain, considering what they were able to pull off. Pretty
It's on
amazing.
my queue.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah,
I told Sal earlier I have a couple other things I want to finish up before I jump into a new one.
Definitely watch it when you get a chance. One thing to keep in mind, which I was just telling Chris earlier, is that I didn't learn this until recently. Neil Gaiman on Twitter said that the way that the renewals work on Netflix and most streaming services is the number of hours viewed in the first month.
So maybe I
So
should watch an
need-
episode or two over the next couple days just to.
Yes, you need to get a couple hours in there because in the first month they take those measurements to determine whether or not they greenlight a next season.
All right. Maybe I'll watch an
And the
episode
plan
after this.
is, according to Neil Gaiman, there are roughly 4,000 plus pages of the total series of Sandman, and they're only about 400 pages in with
Wow.
season 1.
Wow.
Art the Clown is finally back
Oh,
in Terrifier
man.
2.
That trailer, man. Oh,
Yes, I am so excited. This movie has been delayed upon delayed upon delayed, but we're finally getting a release. I will post the new trailer. I posted it up on, up on Facebook. I will also put a link inside the show notes here. After being resurrected by sinister entity, Art the Clown returns to the timid town of Miles County, where he targets a teenage girl and her younger brother on Halloween night. The film stars Felissa Rose, David Howard Thornton, Griffin Santapiero, Laura Lavera, and Chris Jericho makes an appearance in it.
nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
Wonder if it'll have a song on the soundtrack too.
I don't know. We'll see. It's written and directed by Damien Leon. Terrifier 2 will have its world premiere August 29th at Fright Fest, and then followed by a North America premiere at Fantastic Fest in Austin, Texas, followed by a release in theaters this October.
October 6th, I think it said, right?
Yes, October 6th. You can sign up for notifications and tickets on Terrifier2themovie.com.
You can tell by the trailer too. They definitely had a bigger budget for this one.
Yes, and it excites the shit out of me because
Yeah.
I think Art the Clown is probably this generation's fucking boogeyman. Like, he is
I
fucking-
agree. I agree.
Yeah. I saw an interview with the actor. He, like, totally what you wouldn't think. It's just.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Jamie Lee Curtis made a personal announcement on Instagram that Halloween Ends will be released on October 14th. Halloween Ends will be available in theaters and is streaming on Peacock simultaneously October 14th, 2022.
No thanks.
Probably going to have to upgrade, right? Upgrade to.
Oh yeah, you
I'm
will.
not-
I paid the
listen,
$3.99 to watch the last one, and I regret. I wish I had that $3.99 in my pocket right now.
Yeah, I don't like Peacock. I'm not signing up for Peacock. I pretty much have all the streaming services I need.
I'm still pondering Screambox, but now that Terrifier 2 is coming out in the theaters, what was there was the other one that I wanted. Oh, it was that worm one. Something full of
Oh, yeah, yeah,
all
yeah,
jacked
I
up and
forget the
full of
name of it.
worms. That looks
Yes, yes.
crazy.
Yeah. Insidious 5 has wrapped filming. Announced on Twitter by Patrick Wilson. The Patrick Wilson directed sequel is wrapped, according to Instagram posts. 10 years after the end of Insidious 2, Josh Lambert heads east to drop his son Dalton off in an idyllic ivy-covered university. However, Dalton's college dream becomes a nightmare when his repressed demons of his past suddenly return to haunt them both. Insidious 5 is scheduled to reach theaters July 7th, 2023.
I don't think I saw the last one yet. I got to catch up on those.
Good. I don't think they made a bad one. I don't think.
No, I think Insidious has been consistent. It's been consistently a decent film.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 1 and 2 are probably
Unlike the Conjurings.
Yeah.
The
This
Conjurings
is the
has
first
some
one
stinkers.
this is the first one that the star Patrick Wilson is actually directing himself. So I'm excited for that.
Nice.
A new poster has been released for Smile. We talked about Smile last month. Smile, the new
Yeah.
horror movie. There's a new trailer out. I post that up on Facebook. After witnessing a bizarre traumatic incident involving a patient, Dr. Rose Carter starts experiencing frightening occurrences that she can't explain, and overwhelming terror begins to take over her life. Rose must confront her troubling past in order to survive and escape her horrifying reality. It's going to be in theaters September 30th. This kind of reminds me of It Follows.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Just going by the trailer. I don't know what the movie's really going to be like.
Yeah,
but
sometimes
by the
the-
trailers.
Sometimes the trailers can be misleading, and sometimes that's on purpose. You know, like they don't want to give
Yeah.
too much away.
Yeah. Last week premiering was Netflix's new Vampire Hunter film, Day Shift. Turns out this sucker's a hit.
I liked it.
put that on
It
my
was
queue, too.
it was one of the most watched movies on Netflix over the past 2 months. So that's fantastic.
Did either of you
Yeah, I
watch?
watched.
Either of you watch
Go
it?
ahead.
Yeah,
No,
it was-
I watched the trailer and I threw it in my queue. I'm like,
I liked it. It was fun. It was a fun movie.
I watched it immediately because I'm like, holy shit, I've been waiting for this thing. I love vampire movies, and it was good.
Yeah, and it came out on a Friday, and I didn't have plans. I'm like, I'm gonna watch that tonight, and it was
Yep.
good. It was a fun movie. I thought
Yeah,
Jamie Foxx and
absolutely.
Snoop Dogg and the opening scene, like holy crap! I was like, what the hell? Like
Yeah.
it kind
You
of
text me.
Yeah.
You text me. You said, "Yeah, this film opens up with something fucking great right off the bat."
yeah, it did. Like that whole scene where he goes into that house and like he's like supposed to be a pool cleaner, but that's his
Yeah,
his disguise. And that old lady, I was like, what the hell? It kind of reminded me of the old lady from Drag Me to Hell.
Yes. Yeah.
It
And then he
was-
kills her and pulls out her teeth, and I'm like, "What the fuck? What is going on?"
That whole-
And then it turned out to be just an awesome premise.
Yeah, the
Like,
concept
premise
of that
the
was
film great.
awesome. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
and then the guy who was like the pawn shop guy that he had to go to because he was kicked out of the
To sell the
union.
teeth.
He's
Yeah,
been in
yeah.
a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah, it was a great film.
Yeah,
really
I liked
enjoyed it.
I would say it was like an action comedy horror, like in those
Yeah.
three, like action
Yep,
comedy
yep.
horror. But
Yeah.
it was still enough blood and guts and vampires that it was a horror for sure.
Yeah. And the cool thing is, all the spider type vampires, they were all acrobatic actors.
I was
Like,
wondering,
They
I was
did a
wonder-
whole behind the scenes thing. These are all people that do contortions.
like from
and they-
what's it like from the James Wan film?
Yep.
What the hell was that?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Go and
the
watch
name of
last
it.
year.
Yeah.
Maybe he started a trend with that, like getting people that could do that shit.
Maybe. But they had 8 contortionists in the film that did all those contortionist roles.
You could tell. I mean, it was like some of those action scenes were awesome.
Dude, and the coolest thing is they showed behind the scenes, like all the you know how the contortionists, like when they killed the vampires, their neck like got bent all fucked up and shit.
Yeah.
They actually posed in those positions.
Oh
And
man!
I was like, holy shit, it looks like your neck is broken. And they're like, yeah, that's
Damn.
why they hired us for this role.
Yeah, Craig, you gotta check it out. It's a fun movie.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Just a quick summary of the movie. A hardworking blue-collar dad who just wants to provide a good life for his quick-witted daughter has his mundane San Fernando Valley pool cleaning job is a front for his real source of income. Hunting and killing vampires is part of an international union of vampire hunters. Yeah, very
James
good
Franco
movie.
was good in it too, as the
Yeah,
dorky
as
the
the
dorky
dorky dude.
accountant guy or whatever the hell he was.
Dude, we should probably review this film because there were so many scenes in that
Yeah.
that I want to talk about, but they're all spoilery.
That's true.
All right. Hulu's Hellraiser reboot starring Jamie Clayton gets an R rating and a release date.
Nice.
According to comicbook.com, the new Hellraiser has a rating of rated R for blood, violence, gore, and sexual content.
Sweet.
We should be hearing details. The release is now scheduled for October 7th, they announced today.
So we should be seeing a trailer sometime soon, I would think.
This morning, all they gave was a little teaser of the Hellraiser logo saying October 7th. So Twitter did leak. If you're interested, go on Twitter, search for Hellraiser Hulu. And they did leak some photographs of Pinhead as a woman. And I'm impressed. I can't wait.
Nice. I'll be right back. I'm just going to go put a light on.
Yep. The Black Phone director teases that there have been conversations about a sequel. Apparently, Joe Hill's adaptation of Joe Hill's story, The Black Phone, actually came out pretty good. I haven't seen it,
I saw it.
but my understanding is it was good enough. They're talking about a sequel.
Yeah, no, it was good for sure. I watched it.
Joe Hill pitched an idea to the director in the sequel to The Black Phone, and if this movie does well, they're going to do it. Joe Hill had a great idea, and the director really liked it. And Joe's very protective and personal about his material, and he wrote the original book. But he came to him with an idea like, hey, how do you feel about this if we do a sequel? And he said, that is terrific. So let's hope that they get a sequel.
Sweet.
I'm interested in seeing the movie. Haven't seen it yet, but I will.
I saw it.
Yeah, I watched it. What did you think,
Nice.
Chris? It was good, right?
I liked it, yeah. It was a different concept. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I'll say this. Joe Hill is turning out to be quite the prolific writer like his father.
Yeah.
And he can do an end, too.
Yeah, that's good because that's one thing his dad really couldn't do.
Never knew how to end anything.
Yeah. The ending, like the book would always be great, and the end would be like, what?
Yeah, like,
Why did you do
giant
that?
spider? Giant mechanical spider? What?
Yeah. The only thing that did end in a way that was shocking was the mist.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
Yeah. Evil Dead, the game, will be adding Mia from the 2013 film in September. It's been confirmed that Mia from the Evil Dead 2013 remake will be added to the Evil Dead game as a playable character this September.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, that game is still hard.
Tom Savini did the mask in the Black Phone too, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
he
he
did.
did.
Yep.
Shudder announces 61 days of Halloween celebration with a new lineup including VHS 99 and some new Joe Bob Briggs episodes. Halloween is the best time of year on Shudder, and this Halloween they're featuring the best lineup of programming in history. There's 11 new original exclusive premieres, including a new film by the horror master Dario Argento.
Oh, nice.
And a Halloween special from superstar host Joe Bob Briggs.
And a new
Along
gulag,
with-
too.
Yep, along with 3 new series from Brian Fuller, the Boulet brothers, and producers of Eli Roth's History of Horror.
Oh, nice.
So I'm looking forward to that. 61 Days of Halloween. Let's do it.
Yeah, and Shudder's content, they've really upped their game, too. There's a lot more content.
Dude, this month there's so much great shit on there that they just added.
Yeah, I think maybe because of Screambox, they've decided they needed to, put a little bit more effort into it.
Yep, and now 3 live channels. There's 3
Yeah.
channels with live streaming now.
And it's kind of cool because whenever you turn it on, they're all the same. It's all the same thing, but they're just you can pick one of them. It's like Scream Classic, like Slasher Class. No, Slashix. It's what it's called.
Slashix, yeah.
And Folklore or something like that. And I forget what the other one is.
Folklore, and the other one is It Came From Shudder, which is all their original material.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. Netflix adaptation of Stephen King's Mr. Harrington's Phone earned a PG-13 rating and praise from the author. Netflix hasn't announced exactly when they're going to release the Stephen King adaptation of Mr. Harrigan's Phone, but we know that it's coming to a streaming service this year. It's based on Craig, a young boy living in a small town who befriends an older, reclusive billionaire, Mr. Harrigan, and the two form a bond over books and an iPhone. But when the man passes away, the boy discovers that not everything dead is gone, and finds himself able to communicate with his friend from beyond the grave using the iPhone that was buried with him. This is a great Stephen King book being made into a new movie on Netflix. Again, we discussed this a couple years ago. He has a multi-year, multi-movie contract with Stephen King and Netflix. Stephen King did post on to Twitter that he watched a late screener of it and was thoroughly impressed with how well they produced the film.
Yeah, he was thoroughly impressed with the remake of Pet Sematary too. So
Yeah, he's listen, he's trying to sell his own material, right?
yeah, thanks, Steve. But I'm gonna.
Gerald's Game was decent. On
I liked
Netflix.
Gerald's
It
game.
was.
I thought Gerald's game was really good. And what was that
And
other
in
one?
the
Like
tall
19
grass. In the tall grass, in
I thought
1922.
that was him and his son, though, right? It was him.
Yeah,
and Joe
in the
Hill.
tall grass was Joe Hill and Stephen King together, but 1922
Yeah.
was Stephen King.
I thought that was good too. 1922 was good. Yeah.
very
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're doing nice jobs with his stuff.
Hulu's Predator prequel, Prey, achieved the #1 premiere of all time in the history of Hulu.
It was
That's
good.
pretty fucking amazing.
It was good. I liked it a lot.
It's a very, very good film. When they announced after that opening weekend how many people watched it and that it was their #1 premiere of all time, that's stunning. And everyone on Twitter seemed to say, "Hey, this is a really great film. Go watch it."
Yeah, they decided
just-
not to release it in the theater.
Yeah, it's weird because I really didn't expect it to be good for that reason. Like, typically, if you got a good film, you want to make your money back. The best way to do that is get some asses and seats in front of it at a theater.
Yeah, but maybe Disney is just coming to the
Maybe
real.
not, right?
Maybe Disney is just coming to the realization that horror actually makes money. You know, because they own Hulu, right?
That's right.
And
Outright, yeah.
how much horror is Disney involved in that? You know.
Well, here's the thing. Prey was a 20th Century Fox production, and it was in
Oh.
production before Disney bought them in the merger.
Okay, all right.
So I think this may have been a boo-boo on Disney's part. They thought, we don't give a fuck about this. Let's just put it right on Hulu. When really they had a contender for awards in their hands.
Well, maybe they'll open their eyes up now and start putting a little bit more effort into the horror genre.
One thing that I did hear, again, Neil Gaiman, because I've been following this guy for years. He wrote a bunch of great books, Good Omens. He did The Sandman, which is one of my favorite comic books of all time. He did American Gods, Coraline. I don't know if you've ever... My kids
that's
loved
awesome.
Coraline.
I remember that movie.
That's Neil Gaiman. He wrote the Coraline
Oh, wow.
book. But the thing about Neil Gaiman is he said, here's the interesting thing that you got to think about. When you produce a movie, let's say you have a budget of $50 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got to spend $25 million on advertising. You got to split the income of the movie is split 50-50 with theaters. So they take half of all that money.
Mm.
So now you've got the cost of the film, you've got the advertising in the film and all the promotions that you have to do, and then you got to split the earnings in the theaters 50-50. You got to fucking really pull in some seats to make your money back.
That's true. I never really thought about that.
So maybe streaming is the future. Maybe theaters are going to see the way of the dodo.
Yeah, because they won't get their cut.
Yeah.
Well, think about it. Part of the reason why we don't see a lot of those smaller art house films nowadays is because big movie companies want to make their money back. And if you're spending $25 million to make a shitty little art house film, and you got to spend $25 million to advertise it, you're not making your money back.
That's
No
true.
matter how hard you try.
Huh.
Yeah.
I never really thought about it that way. Who knew?
Exactly. All right, next, Evil Dead Rise. The latest test screenings went so well that HBO is now talking about doing a theater release before putting on HBO Max. Bruce Campbell watched the latest screening and posted on Twitter that the screening did so well, executives are talking about holding out on the HBO Max release and putting in theaters first.
Well, you thought it was good, right, Sal?
Yeah, and I didn't even see this finished product screening. Like, I saw the test screening that was like, "Hey, are we doing okay with this right now?" And so yeah, I'm thrilled because it's going to be like, you think about the original Evil Dead and you look at the 2013 one, where 2013 was a serious horror film.
Yeah.
This new Evil Dead is a serious horror film.
Nice.
and it's
Metropolitan setting though too. You said right?
Yeah, it takes place in the reason why it's called Evil Dead Rise. It takes place in a New York City high rise,
which is different for them. It always
Yeah,
takes
it's
place in the
different.
woods, or even the series Ash versus Evil Dead took place in like a small town.
right?
Yeah, you don't think of a high rise being creepy, right?
No,
Listen, it's a great fucking movie. I can't wait till it comes out.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, for sure.
That and Terrifier 2 are the two things that are like, top of my list.
Right. According to comicbookresource.com, CBR.com, Bruce Campbell has told Comic Book Resource that the test screenings of Evil Dead Rise have gone so well that the movie might get a theatrical release before going to HBO Max. They just had a preview.
They were doing both at the same time, though, weren't they?
They were for a while.
Now they're owned by Discovery, and he said that's poo-poo gone. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Yeah, fuck Discovery. They had a quote. Bruce Campbell says, "quote We just had a preview, and it went amazing. That was a very high ratings preview, and we're potentially looking to stream it on HBO Max. But now executives are talking about putting it to a theatrical release first this fall. So,
all right.
And Bruce Campbell's in it.
No,
He helped produce it.
help produce it. He's an executive producer. Him and
Sam Raimi.
Sam Raimi. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Bruce Campbell says he's getting too old for that shit now.
But he might do an animated. He might do animated.
Yeah, and you know why that's happened? This is funny because I watched an interview with him at Comic-Con about a week ago, and he said what happened is Ash versus Evil Dead, was on Stars, and everyone kept saying, "What the fuck is Stars?" And by the time it got to Netflix, it's got a major following now. And the show's been canceled for years. It's been over for years. But now there's a major following of it, and people are on Twitter going, "Hey man, when are we gonna see more of this?" You're not. It got canceled. Nobody fucking watched it because it was on Stars. I did too.
Yeah,
I paid for Stars just so I could fucking watch it.
Same here. And it was awesome.
But now they're like, "Oh shit! Now what do we do? Here's an opportunity to make money, and we're gonna miss out if we don't do something." So they're talking about continuing the series as an animated series.
That'd be awesome though, because it'll be different, but like you do so much more with animation that you can't do even with with CGI.
Well, like I said, how old is he now? He's gotta be in his 60s, right?
Yeah.
He's like, I can't do the slapstick comedy anymore.
And he used to do all his own stunts.
Exactly.
That catches up to you.
He still did in the Spider-Man of No Way Home. All right. Killer Clowns from Outer Space is getting turned into a video game. It's going to be available on consoles and PC in early 2023.
And a short, too, from what I saw. Not only just a video game, but a short that's coming out, I think, like around Halloween.
The cult following that will never die.
I'll play the video
Clowns
game.
from Outer Space. Yeah, I would too. Well, it depends. If it's as hard as fucking Evil Dead.
Well, yeah. It's clowns, man. How can it be hard? It's freaking clowns.
Nah.
That's true. We're just
cotton
old.
candy gun too, right? You're gonna have the cotton candy gun.
Yeah.
We're just old,
All right.
maybe.
All right, that is the news. Okay.
Nope comes out Friday too, I think.
What does?
Nope.
On streaming?
Oh, that's right. Nope, on
Yeah.
streaming.
Yep.
But to buy, though, not to rent, right?
Yeah. A lot of mixed reviews on that one.
Yeah.
My friend saw it and said it was really good.
It's one I was looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, same here.
I heard it was really good too, but I didn't. Here's the thing about theaters, man. I don't like them anymore.
No, I'm with you.
The problem is I go to theaters, they're crowded with assholes. They talk during the fucking film. Assholes
floors
bring
are
their
sticky.
babies. Yeah, people bring their fucking babies, man. They bring
Yeah.
their babies.
Yeah.
And then you hear a baby crying
Like-
in the middle of a movie. It's like,
Yeah.
what the fuck, man? Shut your kid up or leave. Leave. Why are you bringing a baby? A baby.
That's why
Yeah.
I used to like when we would go see movies together, the three of us. We would wait 2 weeks and then go see it, and we'd have the whole theater to ourselves. That's fine.
Yeah.
Are you on a Wednesday night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've never, opening night or whatever. No way. No how.
Well, that was the thing. I went to see Multiverse of Madness in the theater, and 2 weeks later it was released on Disney Plus. I was like, what the hell? I just spent $15 to go see this in the theater, and now all of a sudden I can watch it for free.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you gotta watch. You gotta follow the news, man. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, son of a.
All right. We're gonna do now 5 flicks to watch on Shudder, and I'm gonna do this month. I got First of all, Shudder has added a whole bunch of great shit, including this month a Stephen King collection.
Yeah, I like the collections that they're doing. Like every so often they do like a collection.
Yeah.
I like that. It's a good idea.
Time for me to pull the trigger on that, huh?
I think so, man.
Dude, long overdue, man.
And
Shudder
there's like
is
stuff
great.
from the 50s, 60s, like all kinds of like if you just want to like scroll through, they should do like Netflix do and just show me something.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, the one thing though is their user interface is getting a little better.
Yeah.
Because now you can go into an alphabetical listing of all their films, which is kind of cool.
Okay.
It was such a pain to try and find stuff last time.
Did they
Instead
have
of
some
scroll.
categories like slashers or?
Yep.
did they
Yeah.
have
They
them
got
categorized
slashers,
like
they
that?
got neo slashers, they got slashics with those classic slashers. They got you name it. They break it down into a bunch of different genres and subgenres.
It's gotten much better.
Yeah, it's really the user interface has gotten significantly better. Yeah. I don't know how good their live streaming stuff is yet because we'll get to see when they do their next live event. Because when we tried to watch the Chainsaw Awards, that was a big fuck up for like 30 minutes. But
Yeah, it was.
So my 5 flicks to watch on Shudder. Salem's Lot, the 1979 classic. Now it's 2.5 hours long. Because it was a mini series that they condensed into a single film here.
Yeah, you
but
can see where the commercials were. You can see where the commercials were.
Exactly. My daughter and I watched it this past week, and she loves it as much as I did when I was a kid. It still holds up pretty well, I think.
I'll have to watch it again. I think it's been so long. I think I only ever watched it once.
Yeah, and they're working on a remake, which I'm excited to see.
Yeah.
Color Out of Space, again, one of
Nice.
my favorite horror movies. Really good horror movie. I really enjoyed
Classic
that.
Nick Cage.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
They just added this month Allegoria, which is the Spider-1, the movie directed by Spider-1, Rob Zombie's brother.
Did you watch it?
Yep, and it's really good. I enjoyed it.
I have it on my queue in there because that's the other thing. You can queue stuff up now. You didn't used to be able to do that.
You can add it to my list. Yep. And they also added, like Netflix, they have the continue watching now too. So
Which
you
is
can
nice,
go in
yeah.
and go back to something.
That's
that
great
you started.
for those in search of darkness because if you don't feel like sitting there for 4 hours watching it, you can just watch it and then like for an
Go back
hour
to
and
it.
then come back
Yep.
and watch it.
Oh, so they have it's like the resume feature like Netflix has, right?
Yep.
So you can go
Yep.
back.
They didn't used to have that.
Yep.
Okay.
So this movie they added last month, but I still say it's worth bringing up because it's still there. Escape from New York.
It is
film.
good.
Classic film.
Yeah.
Love it.
That one I haven't seen in forever.
Yeah, same here.
And my 5th movie, Life Force, which is the space vampire movie that I love. Watched it as a kid about 1 million times on HBO, and I have it on Blu-ray. I have the collector's edition on Blu-ray too. Life Force. Yeah.
I think it was one of your vampire movies, wasn't it?
One of my top 5. Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. 5 flicks to watch on Shudder this month.
Nice.
All right.
All right, we are doing the top 5 list, and this month it is Chris Craig Sal.
I picked this one. Actually, it was a suggestion by my wife Kim, since it's back to school time. So it's top 5 high school horror movies. Now
There
it
you
doesn't
go.
have to be specifically taking place the entire movie in a high school. It just has to be high school is a theme that ties parts of the movie together. There could be some scenes that are taking place in the high school. They could all be high school friends that the reason they know each other is from high school. Maybe they go to high school at one part of the movie. So because otherwise it'd be tough. So just high school is a part of the movie in some way.
Awesome. All right.
All right, so my number 5 is a newer one, Ma, from I think
Oh, yeah.
2020.
Oh, that is a good one.
I was
Yeah,
I
it's a
was
really good
stunned
one.
by how good that movie was. Like it was one of those ones I saw like the trailer for. I'm just like I don't know. But then I rented it or saw it streaming one night, and it was
it's
really
creepy
good.
as fuck. It's creepy
Yeah,
as fuck,
Octavia
man.
Spencer did great. Like is like that creepy old lady, like partying with
Yeah.
kids, and she like had that dude chained up, and they're like, she was messed up in the head. Great movie.
Yeah.
Number 4, The Loved Ones, which has been in a couple of my lists, and I think we actually watched that.
Yeah.
So there was no high school in the movie, but the whole movie was based on his rejection of her going to the prom.
Right.
And so because he didn't want to go to the prom with her, that's how the movie starts off. And I think all those other guys were like probably like classmates or something too. I don't know for sure, but we'll just say that they were. Number
I'm gonna
3,
guess they were. Yeah.
yeah, number 3, the babysitter. And I'm just gonna say the babysitter. Like it doesn't have to be one or two because but they're all a bunch of high school kids that get together to have a little fun with this kid that she's babysitting, and
Nice.
it was a really good movie. Number 2, Scream. Wes Craven brought back the slasher genre in a great way in the early '90s.
What a great movie. 1996. I remember it so well. What a great
Yeah,
movie.
yeah. And then my number 1 is another Wes Craven movie, A Nightmare on Elm Street. Also a bunch of friends from high school. Some killer scenes in the high school. The one where she's
drag the
being
body
dragged.
bag.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Where's your hall pass? Screw your hall pass." Yeah. So those are my top 5. I have 2 honorable mentions. Carrie, which the final scene is one of those ones that like I think everyone knows, even if you haven't seen the movie. They that's a classic scene. And my other one is
final the cemetery, or no? You're saying at the high school.
Oh yeah, the high school, not the final. My bad. And then It
Final
Follows.
was good too.
Yeah.
Which,
It follows.
okay.
Yeah.
Which was when it came out was something like totally different, and I thought it was like a great like new horror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my list.
Cool.
Nice.
Oh, you see, Who's Watching Oliver is on Amazon Prime.
No, is it?
Really?
Nice. I might have to throw that into my October movies to watch.
Yeah, I think it's Amazon. It's either Amazon. I want to say Amazon, but
Nice.
But I was
That's funny.
flipping through. I'm like, what?
That's funny because my son, his girlfriend is really into horror films.
Oh,
And I said, "Hey, you want to see a fucked up one?" Who's watching Oliver? And they watched it. He goes, "Dad, that was so fucking crazy." I'm like, "Yeah,
So
right."
let her know it's on Amazon Prime now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
All right. My number 5, with Nightmare on Elm Street. I
Nice.
put it on 5 because I was like, it's high school. It's not high school, but I want to assume the boiler room was at the high school too, right?
That's what I thought. I thought it
think
was
so,
probably in the
right.
basement of
Yeah.
the high school.
So yeah, I was on the fence with that, but I threw it. That's why I threw it number 5. Number 4, I went with Christine.
Ah, nice.
Oh, very good. Yeah.
That's
Dude, I
auto
was
shop,
racking my brain
right?
trying to figure out this list. Didn't even think about that.
So
one.
that's like an auto shop school, right? It's still
Yeah.
considered a school. It's like
Yep.
Yeah.
takes place.
Yeah, I didn't want for
number-
this to be too difficult. I just if high school was a theme that like tied a bunch of stuff together.
Yeah. But they were like in the auto mechanic
Yeah.
shop most.
Yeah.
Good part of the movie. Number 3, I went with Cooties.
Oh, I
was
forgot about that
pleasantly
one.
Surprised with Cooties.
Yeah, that's a fairly new one
That
too,
was a
right?
good
That was
movie,
like
yeah.
2019 or 2018.
Yeah. The newer one.
Josh Gad was
number
funny in that
2.
one.
Yeah. Number 2, I went with Carrie, so I got 2 Stephen King movies
Nice.
in my top 5.
Nice.
And number 1, I went with Student Bodies.
Ah, I was going to add that, and I ended up not putting it in there as an honorable mention, but that is a good one.
I have 3 honorable mentions. Antlers was one we just watched. Remember the bully from school?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
His dad was up in the attic. You remember that?
Yep,
right?
yep.
And the teacher was like trying to help him, so school played a big part in that movie. Death Note. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Death Note.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't think so.
Terrible movie. Good cartoon. Terrible movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Yep.
think I did see it.
And the Faculty also.
Oh yeah,
The Faculty. Yeah. Nice.
Elijah Wood.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a bunch of other stars in there too, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Very good. All right. Here's my top 5. My number 5 is Scream.
Nice.
1996 classic. Love that movie.
Yep.
I remember when it came out thinking, wow, what a fucking great film. A film that
Yeah,
refers
it
to
renewed
horror.
my faith in horror movies because
It's a horror movie that refers to horror movies in it. I just love it.
yeah.
Yeah.
My number 4, Prom Night.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Prom Night with what's her
Jamie Lee
name in it?
Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis, yeah. Prom Night 2 was not as good, but Prom Night in 1980 was a great film.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh show.
Yeah, my number 3, Freaky. That one
Oh,
came
I
out
didn't
2
see
years ago.
Freaky.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. I
Vince
totally
Vaughn.
forgot about them. Yeah,
Takes
Vince Vaughn.
takes place in a high school, most of it. Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
switched places. The serial killer and the high school girl.
Yeah.
That was good. I didn't even think about that one.
Very good film. I really like that one. My number 2, Carrie, the original 1976 Carrie. I really enjoy that film. It's one of my daughter's favorite horror films. Actually, she likes the book better. She read the book. She really likes the book better, but the film is great. And my number 1, a Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984.
Nice. There you go.
It's number 1 on 1,000 lists that I make because it's such a great
Yeah.
film and it made such an impact on
When
me
you
during my
had you
youth.
had 2 Wes Craven movies in your list.
Yes, I did.
Same here. Same here.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, that was one of the first like slasher films. I mean, I was used to the classic monster movies and stuff like that.
I mean, prior to this, I saw like Friday the 13th and I saw Halloween, but when this came out, this was like my generation. I remember the summer that it came out. I wasn't allowed to go to the movies to see it because it was rated R, but it came out on VHS the following year, and I went to my cousin's house, and we got all the kids in the neighborhood together. There was like 8 of us. Her mom made popcorn. We closed all the blinds and then watched this movie and proceeded to
got
have our
scared as
fucking
fuck.
brains scared the fuck out of us to the point where we had to open the blinds to
Yeah.
remind us
Yeah.
it's daytime. Don't be afraid to
No,
walk home, man. It's daytime.
No, I know. I went to my next door neighbors, and we went in the basement, and they turned off all the lights, and we watched in the basement. And I lived next door, and I was terrified to
walk
walk
home.
next
Yeah.
door.
Yeah.
Dude, it's one of those mistakes that you make as a kid watching that film. It's
Yep.
like,
Yep.
oh, come on, let's watch this great horror film. And then you close all the blinds. Like, God damn it, what am I going to do? I'm afraid to walk home.
Oh yeah, man, that was so creepy. Fucking Freddy.
My honorable mentions, It Follows, which, again, when we went to see that in a theater, such a freaking unique movie. It was really
Yeah.
good. And then Halloween, because Halloween does take place.
Oh,
The
yeah.
scenes of it take place at the lockers outside the middle school, and
For sure.
when Jamie Lee Curtis is in class and looks out the window and sees.
Yeah, plus they're all
Michael
classmates. I mean,
Yeah.
that's where they all know each other from. So yeah, that's a good list.
Yeah, so that's my list. Awesome.
All right, nice top 5 choice, Chris, too.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah.
Actually, Kim suggested that one.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was good. All right. Let us move on to our movie review this month. The movie this month is The Sadness, which was released in 2021. It is a foreign film, so you do have to read subtitles.
Taiwan.
Not really. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's more visual, I think.
Yeah,
than-
it's the origin language is Chinese. It is filmed in Taipei in Taiwan, and
And the director's
directed-
Canadian.
Yeah, Rob Jabaz. Can't pronounce that name, but yeah, he is the director.
It was funny when I saw the
his-
director. I'm like, that's kind of weird. Like everyone else in the movie is like, Asian,
Yeah.
and then there's Rob Jabaz is the director. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. This here came out in 2021. It's an hour and 39 minutes long. On Rotten Tomatoes, it got a 91% by reviewers and a
Wow.
60% by audience.
Which
Good for
reviewers
the
give it a
audience.
91 is, for this kind of movie I was like, wow, that's impressive.
Well, actually, if you
Yeah.
read some of the reviews by some of the major outlets that reviewed this, they're saying like this is so different, it's so unique,
It is.
it was
It is
it
and
was
it
like
isn't, right?
pushing boundaries of grotesque and
Oh, for
depravity.
sure.
Uh,
It definitely
Yeah.
pushed the boundaries.
Yeah, it did.
yes, it did.
Yeah, it
The
did.
writer was definitely. I give props to the writer because definitely some of the stuff is just like whoa, how could
Over
you-
Yeah,
the
that-
fucking top, bro. Over the top.
Yeah.
So before I say what I'm going to say, let's just say, hey, there's going to be some spoilers here because you can't really talk about this movie without spoiling some shit.
Oh God, yeah.
And so pause it now. Go
Well,
watch it.
before you go on to say something that spoils anything, let me just
All right.
quickly just give a summary of this film.
All right. So, okay.
To our listeners, so they
All
have an
right.
idea what it's about before we tell them to pause and go watch it. So the movie info: the city of Taipei suddenly erupts into a bloody chaos of ordinary people compulsively driven to enact the most cruel and ghastly things that they can imagine. Murder, torture, or mutilation are only the beginning of what you begin to see in this film.
Only
The
the
young
beginning.
couple pushed to its limits of sanity as they try to reunite amid the violence and depravity. The age of civility and order is no more.
Okay, now pause it.
Now, yes,
and go
if
watch.
you didn't watch this movie, pause here, go check it out. It's definitely worth
We'll watch it
watching,
now.
and then come back and hear what we have to say about it.
So one of
How
the
did you
things
stumble upon this one, Chris?
I was just like scrolling through Shutter trying to see what was on Shutter, and I saw the picture of just blood, and I was like, oh, all right, let's. And I watched the trailer. I'm like, oh Jesus, what the? I think I have to watch this one. So I didn't watch it then because I was like, we're gonna watch this one next month, and then I waited till last night to watch it because I didn't want to,
Okay.
But
Yeah.
so one of the things I was trying to figure out during the movie, and they explain it to you later, but how this thing was being spread. And then I was like, well, I guess one way that this thing could be spread is by getting raped in your eye hole.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that scene was
I guess that
so
fucking you're gonna get it if you get raped in the eye hole.
Yeah, dude, that was so fucked up because that's one of those things that go, well, I'm gonna beat your ass and then skull fuck you, and then you see it in the film and you go, that is more fucked up than I could have possibly imagined.
There were so many times in this movie that I like, and so as a horror fan in my late 40s, I don't get grossed out by much anymore. I don't like drop my jaw too much anymore. I dropped my jaw several times during this movie.
Dude.
And there were several times like I did look at my watch twice, but not because I was bored, because I was hoping that it was soon over because I couldn't handle any more of the violence.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I think I have PTSD after this movie.
Dude, I have never seen a film with such grotesque depravity.
Brutality.
It was
Oh, God.
fucking insane.
That subway scene is my all-time favorite. That subway scene is my
Dude, and the weird thing about this movie, and so it's similar to a zombie movie, but they're not zombies. They die when you kill them, and they can still
have their
think,
wits about 'em,
and they
right?
can
Yeah,
still
they have their
think.
wits
But that was the
They
thing.
just want
Right, that-
pleasure and violence, and they take pleasure in suffering. That's basically the plot of the movie.
Well, and the thing is, I was in the beginning. I'm trying to figure out is this a
Yeah.
zombie film?
Yeah, so I was like, what the hell? How are some people like that one dude got covered in blood, but he didn't get it. But I was like,
Yeah.
How is he not getting this? It took a while to figure out how it was
But then at
spread.
the end, the dude in the lab
Yeah.
kind of explained it all. and I was
The
like,
doctor.
oh,
So I thought that was
right.
great too because it came out during the pandemic,
Right.
and they were basically saying, "Oh,
Yeah.
this is bullshit. The government's just trying to scare you. This is nothing. It's an all big hoax." And this doctor's on TV and stuff trying to warn people that this virus, the Alvin virus, which is a fucked up name for it, the Alvin virus, it contains the packaging material of something very similar to rabies, and if it would mutate, things could get bad. And they're like, "Oh, shut up, man. What do you know?" And then it gets fucking bad,
Real
really
bad.
bad.
And then he says, I forget what part of the brain is hyper activated and
The
you
limbic
start-
system.
Yeah, the limbic,
Yeah, the limbic system.
And
Yeah.
it's like, dude, and you just seeking out pleasure in violent and grotesque ways, and then
Yeah.
they won't do things to other infected people because the phrase he said is, "You can't rape the willing."
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what
Well,
the?
And I thought that the awesome thing too was at 1/3 of the movie and then 2/3 of the movie, they made a special point of saying, "Yeah, and these are just the beginning of what the shit could happen." I'm like, wait a minute. So the stuff we saw so far isn't the worst of what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
What
yeah.
the?
And then it turns into the dude at the subway, scene, the dude with the umbrella,
Oh, God.
just following those chicks, following those.
He
chicks.
was great. That guy was great. At first, I was like, "What the hell is this old man? He's just but every time they showed him, he
Dude.
was fucking."
The lines that he said when he was chasing him through the subway.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like, "I haven't been this aroused in years. I haven't been this hard in years. I haven't had a threesome ever. I can't wait." And it's like,
Oh
what the
my
fuck?
god. Yeah, yeah, and then there's just
He's
so
talking
much
about, wetness and it's like
there's so much to unpack in this movie.
And then there was a scene where it was like a fucking there were 5 people in a writhing orgy.
But yeah, at first I thought it was 2, and then it looked like it was 3, and then I'm like, wait a
And then
minute,
it's
is there 4? what the hell? And they just showed bits and pieces, you know. They didn't show the whole thing, which I think was probably better, you know, because
Right,
you didn't
right,
know or what.
right.
Oh my god, yeah, it was like just like.
And I wasn't
Well,
sure
it did
once he
start
got a
off
hold
fast.
of that girl in the hospital, and he's like, "Where's your pretty friend?"
Yeah.
And then after he gouged her eye out, and then he takes his suspenders off, and he opens up his pants. I'm like, what's he gonna do? Rape her? And then he grabs her by the head and starts skull fucking the eye socket, and
You
she's
know what
just
other-
like screaming. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they did a really good job too with making the screams last longer than they should have.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
like you wanted the screams to stop and they didn't.
Yeah.
It was the same thing like at the beginning when that guy was making that public announcement from the government, but he was fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
And he kept laughing and laughing and laughing over like the loudspeakers throughout the city, and he just
Yeah.
like you just heard him laughing for like 5 minutes. I'm like, could that guy please stop laughing? Like, I don't want to hear that
was
laughter
part of
anymore.
Part of
What's that?
the beauty of it, because remember the guy that was hiding under the
Yeah.
gurney thing, it was like torturing him. You know what I mean? He's like, oh,
Yeah.
'cause the
Ah.
guy just kept like, yeah. she
Well,
kept
having to
screaming
witness a
and
skull fucking, yeah.
screaming. Yeah.
I mean, right off the
That
bat,
doesn't
like,
come-
yeah, right off the bat when he saw the old lady across on the rooftop,
Oh yeah.
and I thought, all right, this is gonna be like a zombie film.
28 days later or something.
Yeah, and then when he goes into the shop and like he sees her there and then she pukes and attacks people and like dumps that hot oil on the one guy, ripping his face off. I'm like, holy shit, this is
Great
gory.
practical effects too. There was
Yeah.
some really good practical effects in this movie.
And then
Most
when his
of them
neighbor
are, yeah.
cuts
Like bit his fingers off. And then he
Yeah.
said, "Hey, he's like, don't worry about that pretty girlfriend here. I'll make sure I finger her real good for you."
And then I was like, all right, this is a completely different film than what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
Completely
'cause-
different.
Yeah, it started pretty quick into the movie too. Like
Yeah,
10
but
minutes in,
like
it's
like
cool.
Sal said, like I thought it was gonna be a zombie flick at first, and then like you
Yeah, me
kept
too.
waiting for this typical zombie shit to happen. But they
Nope.
died. Like when you killed them, they died. They didn't get back
Yeah.
up or anything like that. I'm like, okay, so
Yep.
they're not zombies, but they also were smart. They were firing guns and driving cars and shit. I'm like,
And stabbing
wait a minute.
people.
So
And they
Yeah.
had their
Yeah, but
sanity
the
because
person-
when they finally tackled the guy in the subway on the train, when they tackled him to the ground, and he started yelling out, "Did I beat the record? Did I beat the record?"
yeah, I was like, what?
I'm like, what the fuck? And then the
He was
next
like, oh,
guy's
it's
like, and he started stabbing someone in the guts. I'm like, God damn, it
It
just
was
keeps
so
going.
violent too, and you know what I mean. The stabbings were like just so violent and like the
Brutal.
noise, and it was just like
Brutal.
Yeah, yeah. And then all that blood just gonna go.
I like the
Yeah.
person that fell out of the high rise there too.
Yeah, it just like
Yeah.
smashed on the ground. It reminded me of Midsummer when those
Yeah,
old people
yeah.
jumped
they
off the
jumped off the cliff. Yeah.
and they just like
Yeah.
like broke like whatever position
Yep.
they fell in. One thing
Yeah.
I was disappointed in was when that old dude broke the axe in case of emergency. I thought
Yeah.
for sure they were going to show him bashing that guy's head in,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but they
kinda
they,
waited
they
for
showed the
that.
blood flying and stuff like that. But I was like, maybe they didn't have enough budget for that. But then later on in the movie, they showed a head getting like blown up. So I was
Well,
like,
Yeah, the grenade inside in the mouth. Yeah.
yeah.
To me, it was like I think they were trying to preserve some budget to make sure they could show certain scenes.
The grand
and not other-
finale.
yeah.
They had to build up to the brains getting like
Yeah. They had
Oh,
to
and then when
build
they
up-
were like, that one chick was just sitting there eating like that. Like I'm like, okay, well that's kind of zombie-esque. She's just sitting there like eating like the guts and stuff of this like person.
apparently that's the thing that she had a desire for was eating humans. You know, hey.
Oh,
Yeah, so the
man.
story wasn't super deep, right?
No,
It was
not
just
at all.
a
No,
boyfriend
not at all.
trying to find his girlfriend,
No.
basically.
Yeah, and it reminded me
That's
like
what
so
it was.
so they kept switching back and forth between their journeys to find each other,
Yeah,
and so then
exactly.
each like clip just seemed like a mini movie inside the main movie just to
But
show
you didn't
like
need a deep story. That's the beauty of it.
no, you didn't, not at all.
But I think there's an underlying story here, like an underlying message reflective of our actual pandemic we went through. It's
True,
like
that's true, that's a good point.
People's inability to grasp reality and then people's desire to just do what they want. And I think
that's a
that's
good
what
point,
this kind
yeah.
of unraveled as. Like
It's an
these
excellent
are-
point.
These are people that once they got the virus, it infected that part of the brain where they're just like, I'm going to do the thing that is my most terrible desire that I wouldn't do. I'm just
Yeah.
going to do it now.
And I don't give a
Go out
shit.
without a mask on.
Right,
or
right.
something, right?
Yeah, but in this case, instead of going out without a mask, is fucking a poor schoolgirl in the eye
Yeah.
with your,
Ah, you know what else was another fucking scene that like just caught me off guard? Like I like when she's in the hospital with that doctor, and he's explaining stuff to her, and then all of a sudden you hear the crying, and you know that
baby.
baby was in the trash
Oh,
can.
yeah.
But no,
Baby
and
was
not,
in the freaking trash
not
can.
only that, he kills it. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
what he says afterwards, he goes, I killed all those babies. I had to, because if I didn't, they would have fucked them and then killed them if fucking them didn't kill them. And I'm like,
I did
what
them a
the
favor.
fuck?
I did them a favor.
Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, whoever wrote this shit is fucking demented, man.
That's what I said. The writer gets props,
Oh.
mad props.
There
Like,
was
just
so
because
much
of, like,
shit that happened. One of the other ones was like when those kids were at the baseball field, like beating that guy with bats and shit. And then he comes and they all run away. I'm like, why did they run away? Like they're not scared, right? I mean, and then all of a sudden they all come back and start like throwing baseball at him and shit.
Yeah. Well, and then those kids
you
were like,
think
they're
he's like saving that dude, and he's not. He's like,
No.
I wanted to get his nuts.
Yeah, he's like, what are you doing? He's like, I was just about to get off. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? What the fuck?
dude, and his kids were beating him, and then the one kid almost killed him. And he's like, dude, you can't kill him because then it won't be fun. He's got to be yelling when we're hitting him.
Yeah. Man. And so the reason it was called the sadness was the doctor said it. He said, you know, they start to cry because I think they know what they're doing is wrong, but they don't care.
Yeah.
They want to do it.
Yeah,
So it
because
doesn't matter.
whatever that virus is affects that part of the brain that they're driven by, like their id. Like they just want to
Yeah.
do whatever.
Whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
To make them feel good.
Yeah.
And they know it's wrong. That's
Right.
what's weird about it. but they
Yeah,
still
and it's
do
about
it.
a nonstop pursuit of pleasure through
Yeah.
violence. It was a fucked up film, and
It
it
was awesome.
it was awesome. It was something like I've never seen before. And the only thing that was distracting to me, and it happens with these foreign films where I have to read subtitles, is you have to draw your eyes away from
Yeah.
the action to read what's going on.
And there was
there
so
was
much-
definitely a couple scenes where like I was too mesmerized by what was happening on the screen that I didn't read the words because I was just like, that is fucking crazy.
But like I said, it was one of those movies where there wasn't a ton of words.
Yeah, there wasn't.
Yeah. It was light on
It was
dialogue
more
for the most
action.
part.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? More action.
There
than
was
words,
some good
right?
comedy thrown in here and there too, like some dark comedy. You know, there was
Yeah.
some funny shit that
Yeah.
happened here and there.
Yeah.
Like that chubby kid who was like the security guard or whatever at the
Yeah.
at the train station.
Yeah, the one she stole his phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, they beat on him for a little while. But yeah, that was pretty fucked up. I'll say this, like, I'm always pleasantly surprised at the amount of unique stories out there, and this is one of those unique films that, at first you think it's something, and then they subvert your expectations and go way off the fucking rails into crazy town, and that was entertaining to me.
Yeah.
Because I really thought, like you said, I thought 28 Days Later, when you see the girl on it's like, oh, it's another zombie film. The sadness is something with that. And it turned out to be something completely different. They completely subverted all of my expectations. And I was thoroughly entertained.
That might be the bloodiest movie I've ever seen.
I was just gonna say that. I was
darn
gonna say
close.
that
It's-
ranks up
that
there.
subway scene alone was like, man. was
It
just-
ranks up there with Brain Dead. Or with
Yeah,
Dead Alive.
Brain
Yeah,
Dead,
Dead Alive.
and Evil
Yeah.
Dead 2. Evil Dead
Yeah.
2 had tons of blood in
'Cause
it.
I was
but-
trying to remember. I was like, because Dead Alive was always the bloodiest movie I've
But not
ever
only that,
seen.
Dead Alive was filled with depravity, and this movie was too.
Yeah.
When you think about the two zombies fucking and the pus that goes into the pudding and the guy, from
Yeah,
Dead Alive,
yeah.
this is like
Yeah.
that same level of grossness and depravity
Yes.
going on that really was entertaining for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, there was a lot of blood. A lot of blood. I'd be interested to see how much fake blood they used in this film.
Yeah.
Well, it followed the typical, the Eastern horror films with like the just excessive blood and PSI like just spewing out of fucking veins. Like the guy's neck when the axe into it and blood was just like everywhere. It was pretty crazy.
It's awesome.
So I'm gonna say like, I don't know, man. Entertainment value, 3.5 stars from me.
Yeah, I was
3.5
thinking
stars.
3.5 or 4.
Yeah.
My only thing was like Craig said, there wasn't a whole lot of story, but you didn't need story. Like,
No, you didn't
you know,
need a story.
there was enough of a story that tied everything together, and
Yeah, the virus itself is a story, and
So I'm gonna go 3.5.
yeah,
Nice.
3.5 works.
All right. So we go with American Nightmare Podcast, 3.5 stars for The Sadness. Definitely a movie worth watching. I don't know how long it's going to be on Shudder. But it seems that right now it's a Shudder exclusive because you guys said it was on another service. When I tried to get it, it wasn't there.
No?
So they must have removed it. It's on Shudder pretty much right now.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was released in 2021, but I think it
2021.
didn't.
Yep.
But I think it
Yeah, I
didn't
had
come
to
out
watch it
in into the states until this year. I
Correct,
think. Like
yeah.
early this year, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Very good. All right, so let's wrap up the show here. I want to talk a little bit about just every once in a while we'll talk about our top episodes. So our top 10 episodes of all time right now is number 1 is "Come to Daddy," which was a pretty good
Oh,
film.
nice.
Number
It's
2
no
is
longer All the Devils Are Here, huh?
nope, no, but "All the Devils Are Here" is number 2. The Babysitter is number 3. Our very first episode, "Just Getting Started," is number 4.
Nice.
Hellbender is number 5, which that's a recent one. That's pretty
Yeah.
impressive that one's up there.
Maybe it means
already.
we're luring more people in.
Really?
Maybe.
I'm gonna,
Yeah.
like I said, I'm like, I did, bleh. I don't know. Stinker.
Yeah, but Hellbender, somehow we managed to get quite a few views of that one, so that's impressive.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's when we review the smaller ones, if the people who
I think
like,
that's what it is. People are doing searches for like these smaller indie films to see if they're any good, and they're stumbling into our podcast and our website, which is pretty nice.
Nice.
Near Dark is following that one. That's our number 6. Killer Queen is number 7. Crawl is number 8. Better Watch Out is number 9. That's a good holiday horror film.
Yeah, for sure.
And number 10 is Who's Watching Oliver? Who's Watching Oliver? Yeah, exactly. Damn. All right. So once again, I want to thank everyone for listening to the American Nightmare podcast. We're looking for suggestions for future podcast episodes. What should we review? What should we have a top 5 list? Or just some general feedback. You can email us at feedback@the-american-nightmare.com. You can visit us on the web at the-american-nightmare.com or on Facebook. I also want to give credit to the our opening music, which is Thor's Hammer by Ethan Mexical. And I also want to give a shout out to Riverside FM, which is the tool we use to record this podcast.
Sweet.
Yeah, so thank you for listening, and we'll
See you next month.
see you next month.
See you next month.